Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're managing a sprawling retail chain, a massive healthcare network, or an active university campus, you already know that keeping your seasonal branding fresh it's a constant battle, right? Today, we're diving into a highly structured methodology from the source material that gets right to the root of the operational flaws in traditional seasonal branding. More importantly, we're going to prescribe a much more efficient path forward. We'll explore exactly how leading organizations position themselves as absolute experts by managing their physical brand with total precision.
Here's the roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the multi-location branding crisis, then do a head-to-head of vinyl versus direct-to-wall, and break down the 3 pillars of success. After that, we'll get into the actual subscription tiers and pricing, and wrap up with your implementation roadmap. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. The multi-location branding crisis. Let's start by validating a massive operational pain point we see literally everywhere in corporate facilities and retail environments.
A lot of organizations just default to temporary fixes, vinyl decals, printed posters, wallpaper overlays. But the data shows this creates what's perfectly described as a destructive maintenance loop. It's basically like slapping a cheap Band-Aid on a bursting pipe. Instead of proactively managing seasonal rollouts, your facilities teams are just left scrambling. They're constantly repairing surface damage, fighting supply chain delays, basically perpetually putting out fires instead of building a sustainable, scalable system.
So why exactly do static wall graphics fail so hard? Well, traditional vinyl just can't handle high-traffic environments. You throw in some humidity, temperature swings, daily foot traffic, and within months, it's bubbling and peeling. It honestly looks like a terrible sunburn peeling off a wall. And the removal? That often leaves behind a toxic adhesive residue that literally fights you on the way off. It tears up the drywall, forcing super costly repairs. Add in staggered delivery schedules and multi-vendor chaos, and you've got a fragmented nightmare that totally erodes your brand consistency across locations.
Which brings us to Section 2, Vinyl versus Direct-to-Wall. To escape that chaotic cycle, the data points to a complete operational paradigm shift.
When you actually stack traditional vinyl up against direct-to-wall printing, the operational superiority is just undeniable. Traditional vinyl sourcing means high material waste, toxic VOC adhesives emitting unsafe fumes, and needing harsh chemical scrapers just to get the stuff off. Direct-wall printing, on the other hand, uses completely odorless eco-inks. We're talking advanced molecular UV inks that cure instantly upon application. Totally safe, totally sterile. And the best part? When the season ends, the surface is entirely paint-over ready with standard commercial wall paint. Zero scraping, no toxic fumes, and absolutely zero damaged walls.
If you aren't familiar, direct-to-wall printing is this incredible on-site vertical printing technology. It applies high-resolution graphics straight onto your existing wall surfaces. Drywall, concrete, cinder block, exposed brick, it doesn't matter. By completely ditching the vinyl and the adhesive, the print bonds directly to the substrate itself. What you get is a highly durable, easily cleanable finish specifically rated to survive the absolute worst of high-traffic commercial environments. No peeling, no bubbling, no fading.
Moving on to Section 3, the 3 pillars of success. To understand why experts are flocking to the direct-to-wall subscription model, we look at a framework built on speed, flexibility, and cost predictability. First up is speed. With this advanced technology, most installations are actually wrapped up in under 5 hours per location. Depending on your wall size and substrate, you can easily knock out a project after hours or just within a single business day. Zero impact on your standard operations, no agonizing multi-day vinyl application process, no waiting around for missing shipping components. It happens fast, and it happens flawlessly.
Okay, the second pillar is design flexibility. A huge pitfall we see is over-engineering designs up front and totally losing your agility. This framework solves that in 3 specific steps. First, establish your master brand asset library. This firmly locks in your colors, fonts, and imagery. Second, use centralized project management software for real-time tracking. And third, this is the big one, grant local autonomy within firm design guardrails. Your regional locations can efficiently adapt their messaging without ever going off-brand, and you can even run pilot test graphics before committing to a massive rollout.
And then there's the third pillar, cost predictability. The financial reality here is pretty striking. Implementing this subscription model slashes total lifecycle costs by 30 to 40% over a typical 5-year period. How? By completely eliminating that endless, money-draining cycle of peeling old vinyl, patching ripped drywall, and repainting from scratch. Because the direct-to-wall print won't peel and can just be painted right over, your wall substrate is preserved perfectly for the next refresh. You are effectively turning wild, unpredictable expenses into a smooth, manageable operating cost.
That leads us perfectly into Section 4, subscription tiers and pricing.
Let's break down exactly how this operational framework scales financially.
This model is fundamentally engineered to solve highly targeted industry problems. So for corporate environments, it swaps out drywall tearing for molecular low-VOC UV inks. In massive retail spaces, it fixes panel seam color variances with automated calibration to guarantee 100% brand consistency even across state lines. On educational campuses, it totally bypasses toxic adhesives by using odorless eco-inks perfectly safe for active classrooms. And for high-end museum exhibits, it eliminates multi-day gallery downtime with a stunning solution that's paint-over ready in just hours. Every unique challenge gets a highly specific, engineered solution.
And to really highlight budget efficiency, the high-volume discount tiers can actually bring costs down to as low as $15 per square foot. This pricing structure is specifically optimized for grand, large-scale spaces over 1,000 square feet. It gives enterprise-level plans a massive operational advantage, especially if you've previously been burned by exorbitant third-party coordination fees and wild material markups. Transparency is really the core of this model. The standard pricing matrix typically involves a mobilization and setup fee of roughly $3,500, which expertly handles all your high-resolution vector file configurations. From there, you're looking at a $30 per square foot standard rate for distinct layout areas, covering regional activations across states like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Vermont. Ultimately, you get to trade those highly unpredictable capital expenditures for total budget predictability, confidently locking in your labor and material pricing across all your regional activations at once. Let's head into our final section, your implementation roadmap. Because look, true expertise isn't just about throwing out flashy features, it's about delivering a predictable step-by-step methodology for flawless execution. This standard timeline illustrates exactly how an organization goes from a signed contract to a flawless multi-location rollout in just 6 to 8 weeks. Weeks 1 and 2 are all about the project kickoff and a rigorous site audit. Weeks 2 through 4 handle design development, feedback loops, and final approvals. Then weeks 4 to 6 shift into fabrication and geographic installation planning to really maximize efficiency. And finally, in weeks 6 to 8, the actual installations begin rolling out on a customized, totally predictable cadence.
As the source methodology notes, consistency isn't aspirational. It's engineered directly into the process. By conducting pre-staged substrate assessments, meaning every single location's environmental conditions are carefully audited, adhesion is tested, and repair needs are identified way up front, you virtually eliminate surprises during installation week. Every single crew follows the exact same stringent protocols. Absolutely no location is treated as an unpredictable black box.
So, the final question facilities leaders really need to ask themselves is this. Are you ready to finally replace that chaotic, disruptive maintenance loop with a predictable, highly scalable system? A system that actually respects your operational realities, rigorously protects your infrastructure, and guarantees a flawless brand experience every single season? Transitioning away from legacy static graphics might just be the exact key you need to unlock true operational agility. Thanks for joining me for this splainer, and we will catch you next time.